something is almost telling me that maybe I shouldn't be trying to do this show. This shit is crazy. This the third time me trying to get this show off. All right, this is what we gonna do. This is the Daily Go Get 'Em Ism show. I'm gonna get straight into it. I'm your host, Son752, aka Omar with the R. And what we're talking about tonight on this Pretty Petty Tuesday on the Daily Go Get 'Em Ism show is sometimes the less you know. Sometimes the less you know. When we get into relationships and friendships and partnerships and memberships and all types of situations where we really want to know exactly what we're getting into, that's what we say. That's often what we say to each other. We say, listen, I want to know exactly what I'm getting into so I can make a well-informed decision about how much time I want to invest in this, how much money I want to put in this, or even if it's worth my time or money, especially my money, or time for a lot of people, especially when it comes to relationships. It's not always about the money that's involved, but a lot of times it's about the time that has been invested. People don't want to spend a lot of their time dealing with somebody that's really not in their corner or doesn't have their best interests at heart or really just don't even really bang with them like that. So, a lot of times people will say, listen, I need to know everything that there is to know. But that's one type of person. There's also another type of person that says, listen, man, there's some things I don't need to know. There's some things I don't need to know. So some people say, hey, if such and such used to hang with such and such, I don't need to know that. I'll take them from exactly where I know them now, or exactly where I see them now, or exactly what they're giving to me right now. And I can dig it. It be like that sometimes. Sometimes the less you know about a situation, the less information you can give to somebody else. I'm gonna give y'all a scenario that you may not have thought about. If you know that somebody is involved in criminal activity, but that's your man's, or that's your people, or that's your family, or that's your son, that's your daughter, those are your loves. When the cops come through or the feds come through, you want to be able to say, I don't know. So in those situations, the less you know about the situation, the better you probably are off. The more you know about that situation, the worse off you probably are, because it's like you might have to purge yourself if it comes to a point where they know that you know more than what you say that you know. You might think like, dang, I wish I ain't really know that he moved these pounds, these bricks, these keys, this work. Because if you don't know, then you can't tell, then you can't testify, then you can't be subpoenaed to come to court. If you know everything about what's going on, even though you're not involved, then that might put you in a position where you might have to snitch on your friend, tell on your friend, testify against your people. So sometimes when it's a situation like that, the less you know, the better. See, it's not always about needing to know everything. Sometimes knowing everything will put you in that bad situation. And there's some personal situations where you might not want to know everything about what you're getting into because it might be feeling real good to you at the time. If you meet a woman, fellas, you meet a woman and this joint is nice, she's pretty, got a nice body, got a good head on her shoulders, she give good head from her shoulders. You understand what I'm saying? She's a throat max. You understand what I'm saying? She's making you feel good in more ways than one. This joint really, really turns you on. You don't really need to know that she used to go with such and such, or that she used to mess with nothing but drug dealers. She all about that money. She may have changed her life around, and you like what she's giving you now. So whatever the person that she was before, maybe you don't want to be concerned with all of that. Maybe you don't want to deal with all of that. Maybe you don't even want to know about all of that. But you just met this girl, and all of a sudden, out of the woodworks, after you have gotten to know her, in your own way, after you've gotten to like her, after you've started to love her, fall in love with her, after she got your nose all open, got your toes all curling, making you feel all good about her, can't stay off the phone with her, always up in the area, thinking about her all day and night, texting all day, that type of shit. Now everybody want to come to you like, oh, you mess around with Sean? Oh, Tina, that shit. Oh, he messed with Tina. Yo, man. I mean, Tina's straight. She good peoples. But I think there's some things you used to know. I mean, that you need to know, and you know how that go. When your peoples come through and tell you that there's something that they think that you need to know about a situation that you thought that you already knew about, and now they want to really give it up to you on some old negative information and shit. You was doing good without that information. And it's true. You may need to know. You might need to know that you was dealing with a cock gobbler that got more bodies than a serial killer. You might need to know. Especially if she picked up something along the way that she can't exactly drop off. Sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel about a situation. You get to learning every little thing about it. Listen, you know that you in love when you are encouraged to stop snooping. Like, I don't fucking want to know. I don't want to know nothing that's going to make me change my mind. I don't want to know nothing that's going to make me make a well-informed decision. I don't want to know nothing that's going to make me start thinking about history or the future. It be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes, baby. So, yeah, and in those types of situations, and those types of when you run into something like that happens to you, you might wish that you knew less than what you know. Yeah. I mean, think about it, man. Have you ever been in love to that point? Have you ever met somebody that knocked you off your feet, knocked you out of your socks so bad, so crazy, so hard, that you was like, listen, man, don't nobody bring me no bad news. Now, a lot of times people feel that way when they are already all in with somebody, when they already deeply enthralled in the throes of a love affair, They say, no, I don't care. Sort of like the SOS band. People always talking about reputation. I don't care about those other girls. Just be good to me. That was a real song and a real situation that a lot of people have to face. And it's not always people who just met each other. What about people who've been married a long time and they've settled into their marriage? They're not trying to get divorced. They're not trying to separate. They're not trying to break apart. They're not trying to be on the outs with their spouse. But they might know their spouse is on some other shit. Listen, we gonna get into all of that. After you've married somebody, you know what they like. You know what they into. You know what they do. But sometimes you might wish you didn't know. Because then that might make you have to, think about a little something else than you want to think about. That might make you have to. It might make you have to, and it might have to make you, you know what I'm saying? So imagine you've been married to your spouse somewhere over 5 years, closer to double digits. Y'all done worked through the good and the bad and the hard times and the hard getting to know you part, the living with each other and still making it through the fire and all of that. The exes, the rumors and all of that. Y'all done made it through all of that. Imagine being in that situation and then somebody coming through and telling you that your spouse been messing around with somebody, or that they used to mess around with somebody. Oh, you know what? I got a good one. Check this out. I ain't going to do the cheating thing. That's too easy. Let's say this. You and your spouse met each other when y'all were kind of young, in y'all 20s or whatever. Y'all always wanted to get together, but y'all couldn't get it all the way together. But then y'all finally got together. Still in y'all 20s, y'all got it together and everything like that. And this was the type of person that you knew you was going to want to marry one day, and it was definitely the type of person that you wanted to build a life and have a family with. So y'all was trying to have a baby with each other, right? So for some reason, y'all can never get it together. Y'all was having unprotected sex and all of that kind of stuff, but no pregnancy was coming out of the situation. How about after y'all finally get married or whatever, y'all still trying to have children or whatever, you find out that your spouse got somebody pregnant years ago when y'all was dating, but you never got your spouse pregnant. So fellas, you know how it is. It's like you shooting blanks, but you find out that no, you know you're not shooting blanks because maybe you had children, or maybe you've gotten other women pregnant, but you ain't get the one that you wanted pregnant. And you find out that years ago, somebody that you know got them pregnant, and she got an abortion or something like that. So it's like, on one side, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter because it's like y'all together now and y'all working on having a child, but she still ain't get pregnant by you. But she got pregnant by the next man. Maybe it was when y'all was on a break. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was before y'all got together. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was while y'all was still dealing. Maybe it wasn't. You don't even really know. But what you do know is that you wish you didn't know. You wish you didn't know. You found out that the next man that you know, a man that you know, got your lady pregnant before, and you ain't even get your wife pregnant. So another man got the job done, and she decided not to have that baby. Meanwhile, y'all don't even have a baby for her to have or get rid of. It don't hurt. And that could go for a male or female, because women, that happens to women too. Like, plenty of women have had to deal with a situation where they may have dealt with a man who had babies or got a bunch of other chicks pregnant, but either made her get rid of the baby that she did get pregnant with, or never got her pregnant. And she might have really wanted to have a baby by the boy. But I think that would hurt a little bit more if you actually got married in spite of trying to have children out of wedlock and never being able to do it even after y'all got married. So sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel about things. Sometimes. Yo. This is the show. Make sure y'all hit that button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the show. Make sure that y'all share the show. Subscribe to the channel. My bad. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Get a Business Show. We talking about sometimes the less you know. Sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel about a situation that you are involved in. It be like that sometimes, yo. We always say that we want to know everything about a situation. We don't always want to know. Sometimes knowing more adds to our depression. It adds to our suspicion. It adds to everything that we don't want want to have nothing to do with. Sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel. Sometimes the less you know, the more comfortable you can feel. Sometimes the less you know, the more that you can keep it real, and the less you know, you can go from 10 until, and yeah. But that's how that go. You know, I tried 3 times to get this show up, and something still don't seem right. Something still don't feel right. Something still ain't really right. But it's gonna be all right. Everything is gonna be all right. Think it won't. So check it out. Sometimes the less you know, you know, you don't want to know. You may not want to know the body count of somebody that you've dealt with. You don't really want to know that shit. That ain't no good info. You might not want to know that somebody that you are seriously dealing with, or seriously in love with, or somebody that you really, really care for, or have been trying to help with. You might not want to know that they were on drugs, all strung out and all of that. It might be something that you need to know. But damn, they've cleaned up so well. You don't want to know that when they were on drugs, they were selling their body and stealing from their mom and losing their kids to CPS. All that kind of stuff, or not paying their child support, doing all kinds of crazy shit. Sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel. What about people? Some of these women out here, some of y'all women have had to deal with a lot of things dealing with men. Like, you might not want to know, or wish you didn't know, or wish that it wasn't true that your man used to have little gay tendencies. Like, maybe he's straight now, but maybe he has delved in some homosexual behavior before. Yeah, he got a little secret history of his own going on. Sometimes the less you know, baby. Sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel. The better you can feel, you know what I'm saying? And bees like that. We about to get up out of here in a minute. But I want to holler at y'all about this because, yeah, sometimes the less you know, the better you can feel. Sometimes the less you know. Like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Thanks for coming through. Y'all know it's the Daily Go Getism show on the way home. The DG show on the way home. We got it going on all up in the zone. All right. Yeah. I just want to holler at y'all for a minute, man. I ain't even gonna drag it out. I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, think about that, man. Have you always wanted to know everything about every situation that you've ever been in? Or have you ever been in a few situations where you said to yourself, yeah, sometimes the less I would have known about this, or the least I would have known about this, the better I would have felt about this, because I ain't need to know this. Because sometimes when you learn something more about some people or some things or some situations, it makes you change your mind about those situations. It makes you, makes you change or want to change something about the situation. It can be rough. So, good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, what is going on here? What is happening here? Some people are getting out of a cab, and it looks like they are haggling over what belongs to the cab driver and what belongs to them. Why is my man's pants like that? Oh, well, all right. It is what it is. Always be on some other shit sometimes. They got out of a cab, not an Uber. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the less you know. Like, what you do? Come on, cab driver. Lady, cab driver. All right. So I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. Y'all be good. I see y'all tomorrow night. It looks like we may be consistently being able to come through on the 11 o'clock tip. So, love is love, baby. I'll holler back. I said, I'll holler. One. Okay.